Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World Daily with me, John Jordan. So the news we're looking at today is ostensibly around Greenpark Sports, which is a new sort of sports-based NFT project. Kind of interesting if you're interested into this sort of stuff. It's the CEOs of YouTube, Zappos and Blitz. Not quite sure who Blitz are, but I think we all know who YouTube is, and Zappos is pretty big company bought by Amazon in the States. So these are people who have built sort of big companies, and Greenparks is their sort of entry into NFTs. So we know NFTs are pretty big, and lots of companies, particularly sports companies and celebrity companies and fandom companies and all these sort of things are all piling into NFTs because they realise this idea of digital ownership is very powerful and mainstream. So that's sort of interesting. I don't particularly care for what these guys are doing. I mean, there may be some games. Reading the press release, there may be some game stuff in there, but NFTs in and of themselves are not necessarily about games. They're sort of more about ownership and community. But what's interesting here is they are using IMMUTABLE X. So IMMUTABLE X is the new sort of scaling blockchain from the developer behind Gods Unchained. So Immutable is the developer. Their technology is called IMMUTABLE X. It's based on technology from a company called Starkware. We don't need to go into too much detail. Starkware uses a technique called ZK rollups, zero knowledge rollups, which is just a way of scaling Ethereum. And so IMMUTABLE X is using this kind of technology, but IMMUTABLE X is sort of doing its own sort of thing with that kind of middleware. And what's interesting here, if we go down the press release, blah 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 blah. So I sort of did know this stuff was going on. Sorry, it doesn't highlight very well, does it? I did know that IMMUTABLE X had these kind of some of these games on it, but I hadn't really kind of put it all together. And I think what's interesting here is with a lot of these new blockchain scaling technologies, while it is technically a challenge to create them in terms of blockchains are not easy to do, but equally they're not that hard because we know there's like hundreds of blockchains out there, so they can't be that hard to make because people are making them. Obviously some are better than others, I guess, but what I'm saying is from a technical point of view there are clever people are making blockchains, so there's more blockchains out there than we need. That's sort of a product of how kind of market capitalism works. There's always more solutions out there, and I guess the idea is the best ones sort of win out. But actually, the ones that win out are not necessarily the best in technical terms. They are the best. They're good enough in technical terms, and then they are really good at building audience and building user share, or that may be building developer share, and it may be a combination therein. But it's interesting with IMMUTABLE X, which has only really just gone live and doesn't really, as far as I know, doesn't really have any live games on it. Although Gods Unchained, I guess to some degree, their marketplace is now live on there. But we have quite a lot of projects signed up, even if not live. So we have Superfarm DAO. I've no idea who they are. Some DeFi NFT farm. Fair enough. Sounds pretty cool, but I've no idea. We have Epics GG Collectibles. No idea who they are. Then we have Illuvium. So do know who they are. Spoke to them. Done it in the podcast. And Auto Battler RPG. So they're also Australian, same as Immutable. The game's not playable yet. They've started to do some sort of marketing and some NFT sales, I think. So it's interesting to see how they played out. Their token sale went very well. Lucid Site, known them for a long time. They've been in blockchain for like 3 years. So NLB Champions and Crypto Space Command. I've kind of messed around with both those things. They were both Ethereum mainnet games that are now moving to this new solution because they just didn't really work on Ethereum. War Riders, again, another Ethereum-based game, been around for a couple of years. Kind of interesting post-apocalyptic vehicle-based MMO. So they've come along. Gods Unchained, well, we know about Gods Unchained. Guilds of Guardians, so they've just done their first pre-sale. They're going to be published by Immutable, a mobile-first NFT game. Interesting to see how that plays out. Looking like it is going to be fairly accessible. And then we have Mintable, the NFT marketplace. So I've actually used that on the Ethereum mainnet to mint NFTs. And then Double Jump Tokyo, who are the people behind My Crypto Heroes, and this is their own platform, the MCH Plus platform. So they're also moving some of their platform stuff to IMMUTABLE X. So I would say sort of none of these in and of themselves are like a massive like I must get on Immutable X and start playing the game. But there is the combination of all these games. All of these games are interesting to me, and maybe some of these ones I don't know about will be interesting. But because there's enough going on there, that to me is like momentum. There's like 5, 6 games, all of which are interesting. 1 or 2 of which I might really like. And that's probably enough motivation for me to start saying, right, I need to check out Immutable X, I need to set up a wallet, I need to start to put like $100 of value on there. Because there's whole problems with layer 2 scalable solutions is there friction in the system. They're like, you have to, are you taking your assets from Ethereum, are you paying the gas fee to get them onto the other platform? Are you going to buy, with the credit card, if they have the credit card option, which most of them do now, are you going to go in and buy some rat teeth on this new kind of blockchain? Are you going to actually kind of start putting value into this blockchain, which it's a layer 2 solution for Ethereum, but it's not Ethereum. It's still, there is still friction in the system, and we can't pretend there's not. So I think what will be interesting over the next kind of 6 months is to see which of these scaling solutions actually kind of get momentum. So Polygon is sort of there. Certainly the DeFi stuff on Polygon has gone pretty well. Gaming stuff on a Polygon for me probably still not quite there yet. There's not anything massively compelling on there. Although there's plenty of developers doing that. Immutable X looks like it's doing pretty well. I guess not a scaling solution, kind of flow as a layer 1 blockchain. Looks like it's going to have kind of plenty of stuff going on there as well. So there's a few you can kind of start to see how the competition's stacking up now, and that's I'm keen to have some of these things live. I'm looking forward to Guilds of Guardians in particular and Illuvium. Those are new projects which have I think a certain amount of appeal. So looking forward to that, and good to see that we are seeing momentum on Immutable X. So I should probably be sorting myself out on that and getting myself set up. So maybe you should be too. And if you haven't heard about Immutable X, check it out. So immutable.com. This is the company, and you can go through and click through the links to kind of find that sort of stuff. And maybe you'll be interested, if you're interested in sports, you might be interested in Green Park Sports as well. So you can find them there. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. This is Blockchain Gaming World, trying to keep track of this kind of crazy dynamic kind of situation, and hopefully this is useful. So if you're interested in what's going on with blockchain games, please subscribe to the channel. But thanks for watching this video, and see you again soon.